Welcome to the Daily Gospel Talk Show with your host, George Sanders. The talk show and podcast dedicated to spotlighting great people doing great things. This is your opportunity for inspiration, motivation, and encouragement. So without further delay, let's get ready for another incredible episode of the Daily Gospel Talk Show with your host, George Sanders.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another incredible segment, the Daily Gospel Talk Show. I'm your host, George Sanders, and today we have entrepreneur, author, wife, and mother, Dr. Nicole Odom. In our two-part interview, we're going to discuss the demands of being an entrepreneur, how to be a great business person with a family, and the dynamics of a blended family, and so much more. But before we do this, let's take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Discover Blended to Perfection, the powerful and uplifting book by Dr. Nicole Odom Hardnett. This inspiring read delves into overcoming adversity and living your best life. Dr. Nicole shares her journey with complete transparency, showing how she transformed her challenges into strengths. Learn how to embrace life's obstacles and turn them into opportunities for growth. Get your copy today on Amazon and start your own path to transformation.
Imagine a world where you're winning over past traumas and addictions. At Focus Point Behavioral Health, that's our priority every day. We know changing times can be overwhelming and can trigger past traumas and addictions. That's why our friendly staff and diverse team of sponsors are here to give you the care and support you need. Give us a call or visit us. At Focus Point Behavioral Health, your recovery is our focus.
Welcome back to the Daily Gospel Talk Show. I'm your host, George Sanders, and today we have an entrepreneur, author, wife, and mother. I'm talking about Dr. Nicole Odom. Dr. Nicole is the owner and operator of Focus Point Behavioral Health. She has 5 locations and counting. She's the author of 3 books currently available on Amazon. She's a wife and mother in a blended family of 7 children. Today, we're going to discuss business, family, and how she maintains all of this. I'm sure today's interview is going to be a blessing. So without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Nicole Odom to the show. Dr. Nicole Odom, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm so glad to have you on the show. I'm chuckling a little bit because I've got some really cool questions for you, and I can't wait to hear the answers to those. So without further ado, I want to get into it. But before we get into these great questions, can you tell the listening audience just a little bit about yourself, please?
Well, my name is Dr. Nicole Odom Hardnett. I am a wife, mother, entrepreneur, author, and I think I'm the blended family aficionado.
Well, look. Now I know the blended family proficionado. So, can you add just a little bit? When you say blended family, how many people are we talking about, Dr. Nicole?
We have 7 children together.
Wow, and wow. So, yes, I would say that you are the proficionado because some people say, "Oh, I'm the expert," and it's 1 and then it's 2 for my husband, or it's the husband saying it's 1 for me and it's 2 for my wife. Yeah, 7.
No,
Woo.
it's 2 for me and 5 for him.
Amen. Well, listen, I wholeheartedly thank you for your efforts to blend families and also to talk to others about how they can do it effectively. Because I'm sure that, as much as you see TV shows like the Brady Bunch and I don't know what comes out these days. I'm telling you how old I am. That it's not the easiest thing in the world, but certainly I would imagine that when you get it right, it is extremely rewarding.
Most
that you
definitely,
can
without a doubt. But it's the getting it right part. If you can manage through that, then everything's all good.
Amen. Well, listen, we can't wait to hear about that. But I want to get straight into it. So you're an author, you're an entrepreneur, you're the blended family proficionado. You got all of these things going. And listen, most people have a hard time just being one thing, an employee or an entrepreneur. You got all of these things going on. How do you do it? I would imagine that it centers around your purpose. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. Um, my purpose is just go for the gusto. I've always dreamed big, um, and I follow my heart and follow my dreams. So if I wanted, I became an author. I had no intentions of becoming an author. I actually was doing a little footwork for someone that I know, and she decided to back out. She said she wasn't ready. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to make you do anything. But the individual that I contacted kept calling me, and I'm like, no, I don't have a book. I don't want to write a book. I don't know. I don't have any stories to tell. And she's like, everyone has a story to tell. What? I thought about it. She called again, and I was like, you know what? I'm in this blended family. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, all of these things. So I'm like, why not tell a story? Why not write about it? Somebody has gone through what I've gone through, or
Mm-hmm.
is going through what I've gone through. So that's how I became an author. If I didn't try, I would never know whether I was going to succeed and finish the book or not. So why not do it? It didn't hurt me any. I did take a lot of time for the first book, but I just wrote here and there. I had some people help with the editing, and the rest is history. Same with
Wow.
business. It's the same thing. I don't believe I'm not one of those individuals who said, "Oh, I want to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it." If I keep talking about it, if I keep thinking about it and dreaming about it and praying on it, I'm going to do it.
Amen. Well, it's for a lot of people. I mentioned this earlier. For a lot of folks, they're great at the dreaming part, right? They
Mhm.
can dream the idea and have the concept, but the execution part is always the tough part. Like, we can think about, okay, what's your dream car? What's your dream house? What's your dream job? What's your dream business? All of these, what's your dream spouse? All of these things, we can picture them. But when it comes to executing to get those things, we a lot of times fall short. So I commend you on that. And also being able to put this book together so that others can that are in a similar situation that may be having some trials and some obstacles, or wondering what's the next move and how do they make their family better. You've given them some pointers and some tips on way to go with that. And also being an entrepreneur and then uh, doing all this together. That's an incredible thing, because myself as an entrepreneur, listen, I was telling somebody today, it's like, my God, man, I sometimes I wonder if getting a job at Taco Bell is the best, it's the best route for me. And and don't get me wrong, it is very fulfilling, Dr. Nicole. But I swear to you, some days I just want others to make the decisions. I don't want to be the one.
I know that feeling. I wholeheartedly. Because sitting in that main seat is not always fun.
That's right. And others look at it and they say, "Well, you're the boss, and you get to tell people what to do." And
Or you get to travel, or
yeah,
you get to make your own schedule, or
yeah.
yeah, the list goes on and on. But
Hmm.
a lot of people don't realize or even can begin to understand the work that goes
Yes.
into being a really serious entrepreneur.
Yeah. So speaking of that, when did you know that being the entrepreneurial bug? When did it hit you? Because I'm going to take that and then I'm going to lead into because you help so many people. I want to kind of understand when you started that entrepreneurial spirit about yourself, and then we want to talk about kind of backtracking your life to see if there's some things you would do differently, or what was that great age that you said, "Oh man, I would love to stay 18" or something. So when did you get the entrepreneurial bug?
Yeah, I would say I have really kind of always had it. I was a little girl with the lemonade stand. I was the one who babysat for people. Um, unit cleaning. I had a cleaning company, babysitting. What else was there? Entertainment. So we would book private cruises for people to
Really?
party. Uh huh. Um, what else have I done? So assisted living,
And so,
trans.
like, what age when you start? I mean, obviously with the lemonade stand, this was like really early. I mean, this was like preteen, or what was
Yeah,
this in the
yeah.
babysitting stuff?
I was young. I was probably like 7, 8, somewhere in
Wow.
there with lemonade stand. When my brothers, I have 2 older brothers. When they had girlfriends and they wanted to go hang out, I babysat the kid.
Wow.
It's like, if you pay me, I'll do it. And it's not going to happen. I'm not going to just sit here and watch kids.
Right, right,
Watch
right.
kids first. If going to the store for people, okay,
Hmm.
it's a nominal fee for that. My time is money. My time has always been worth something.
You were DoorDash before DoorDash, huh?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Wow, wow. So now you're starting all those at those early ages, and you had the entrepreneurial bug, and we're gonna get to how many locations you got, because that's a fascinating piece there. But Dr. Nicole, was there like an age that was like the age for you where you said, man, like if I can go back to that age, this was like it. What is that age and why?
The age that I would like to go back to, if I could, would be 30.
Really?
And I say 30 is because I took time to date myself. I took
Mm.
time to know what Nicole really liked, what she doesn't like, what she enjoys, just all about me. I had come to a divorce
Hmm.
previously, and I just didn't want to be bothered. I just wanted my own peace so I can sit back and know who I am and what I want in life.
Is that important, Dr. Nicole, for people to take that time to reflect on who they are and what they want? I think sometimes, regardless of how we realize it, we're always living for somebody else.
Right.
It just always, whether for like me, it's my wife, it's my kids, and then I look up and I say, man, all these years have passed. I mean, what? Yeah, I own a business and a few other things. I'm very proud of those things, but sometimes I look up and I say, man, did I have I been doing anything for myself?
Right, to make yourself happy and know exactly what you like because you're so busy living for everyone else. And that's exactly I was. I had 2 kids. I just went through a divorce, and I was doing everything for everyone else to make them happy. And it was always go, 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 go. And at that
Mhm.
time, I worked a 9 to 5, and sometimes I would throw in another, 9 to 4 on top of that, and still had home to take care of, kids to take care of, and things like that. But I was really burning myself out. I was working hard, but I wasn't working smart.
Mm.
So I had to sit back and say, okay, I don't want to date anybody. I want to take care of my kids. But most importantly, I needed to take care of myself. Because if I didn't take care of myself, I wasn't going to be good for anyone else.
Now, let me ask you this: did you have the business at the time, or you were working? Okay, okay. I just want to kind of paint this picture here.
Yeah, at that time I was working, let me see, at 30, I was working, I think it was in a hospital working. I was a
Mhm.
pharmacy tech for a while. I've done all types of things. I've been a case manager. I've been a director. I think it was no, I was at a post secondary education school. I was a director of career services. So I was helping place people in employment after they graduated from the school. So that was my job. So that was a headache in enough because I had staff, but it was only 3 people at that time that I was
Mhm.
responsible for. But I'm responsible for the whole school as they graduate. So I had to have my mind clear. And, getting into a relationship after getting out of another one, having kids, one is ADHD, one is ADD. It was a hectic, a hectic time. So, I really had to focus and I started reading more. So I read a lot of the self-help books, going to church, just really building me, making me whole. And I think in one of the books I read that if you don't love yourself, there's no possible way you can truly love someone else. And I wholeheartedly believe that because, I really wanted a strong relationship and I waited in peace and solace until God sent me the right person, which came several years later. But I just knew what I wanted and I was dating with purpose. At that time, I really wasn't gung ho on a business, but I knew I wasn't cut out to work for anyone
Oh, wow.
because I always looked at the companies, basically their bottom line. What could they do to work smarter or position people, where they're going to perform best? I looked at those type of things really different, I guess, probably than other employees. But when
Do you feel like that part right there? I mean, because what you're describing is me. Also, I'm like the male version of you, right? Like you kind of have to experience all of these things to kind of figure out, yeah, I like this, I don't like that, or I like pieces of this and I can put pieces of that. Do you feel like all this has helped you with your current business? And well, tell us a little bit how that has helped you with your current business.
most definitely, I am able to look at things from the employee's standpoint, a more empathetic standpoint. I've
Mm.
been an employee. I've been in all these companies. I know what I didn't like, but their time off, their vacation, their sick time policies. With when people have children and not being able to get off, I am really able to feel for my employees and offer the best that I possibly can. That one is not going to hurt my bottom line, but is also going to be beneficial to the employees where they can work peacefully and not worry about, oh my gosh, I can't get off because my son is graduating or my daughter's ballet recital or something like that. I can work from a more strategic standpoint where the employee can get what they want, but I'm also getting what I want and need.
Mm.
So me being in all these positions, I've been in a position where I've done some HR, I've done some payroll. No, I'm not an expert at those, but I have touched on those things. So I know how it should run and how I want it to run. And when I have a conversation with someone about, okay, they want to bring in a new payroll company, and they want to sit down and talk to me, I can talk with some sort of knowledge.
Hmm.
I just took all my previous experiences, and when I had the opportunity to open my first license location, I was ready for it. I didn't know really too much what I was doing. I could read, and I can ask questions. So I believe in this. What I've always done.
Dr. Odom, you said you could read,
I can
and
read,
and listen, I know how you're saying that, but
right?
that's God honest. That is something that is severely overlooked. I mean, being able
Exactly.
to just understand the basics of business and be able to move forward. I think a lot of times when I talk to business people all the time or aspiring business people, and they want to make things so complex. It's like
It's really not that all the time.
right, exactly.
Once you, like in my business, we have it's a lot of, it's a fine line between,
Mhm.
thus and so. So to get a better understanding, once you read it, you ask questions, but you ask questions of either people who have been in business and doing what you're doing for years, or you go straight to the horse's mouth,
Right,
meaning the
right.
licensing agency or your surveyor or whomever it may be that you can get the facts. Not, some fine lines and you're going crossing some red tape and things like that. No, you
Right.
don't want to do that. You don't want to get information from people who don't even have a business. And I see that so much. It's like ridiculous. And of course, you're going to get, misconstrued information if you're going to someone who doesn't even have a business and you're asking them questions.
That is you don't realize how much of a mouthful what you just said right there. I tell people that all the time. Do not get experience, do not get advice from people that are not where you want to be.
Exactly.
That is, it makes no sense in the world. If I'm thinking about buying a car, I wouldn't ask somebody who doesn't own a car.
Exactly. It just
It
doesn't make good sense
makes
to
no
do
sense.
that. And if you want to really, propel yourself, go for someone who has the knowledge.
Knowledge. Now, which brings me to your business. So all the things that you offer, you guys are, you offer a wealth of services for people. Now, I know you and I, we're gonna turn this into a 2-part interview because you got we got to talk about the book. We got to talk. And look, I also want to get to some things that really I believe is going to help our listening audience with just some personal questions. You're a woman that has been through a lot from an education standpoint, from a life experience standpoint, from an entrepreneurial standpoint. It's so many things that we can that you can impart upon us. So I want to get to some of these questions because I told you I had a list of them, but
Sure.
look, sometimes I go off the rails a little bit when you mention one thing and then I say, oh, let me ask about this. And that's not even on my list of questions. So, but it's okay. It's okay. So we're going to turn this into a 2-part deal so that we can make sure that we touch everything. I wanted to, you had mentioned something about when you were like in your 30s and being able to, live for yourself and start putting some consideration to yourself. All right.
Right.
Does that mean a couple of things? Are we thinking logically? Or are we thinking emotionally? Meaning, are we thinking with our heart? Or are we thinking with our head? How do you differentiate the two?
In my 30s, at that particular time, I was really thinking with my head. I did things by, like I said, I was reading quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
If I was thinking with my heart, I had a lot of offers to go to dinner, to movies, those type of things. But again, it would have led possibly to a relationship or dating someone that I did not want or I wasn't ready for a new relationship. So I would basically be forcing it. So why not just stay to yourself? It's not going to hurt. I don't need someone else to make me happy. I can make my own self happy.
Mm.
And I really had to, and that wasn't like at like, 13, 14, I was making myself happy. No, it came after being in failed relationships, a failed marriage. It came after some trials and tribulations in life that led me to, you need to sit back and woosah, girl, because you're
Mm.
just going to keep on repeating your cycle.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Because if you don't know who you are, how can you be with someone else and expect them to know what you want, what you need, what you have to offer? And also, I wanted to have something to bring to the table, even if it's just a clear
Wow.
mind
Wow.
without as much baggage as I would have brought if I dated, immediately. So I was able to think about what I really wanted in life. So I think it was at that time where I went back to school to get my master's.
Mm.
And getting my master's was actually during that time, those couple of years, was the first time I really did something, I think, like wow for myself. And so I had to make some decisions, and they were very hard decisions. I had two boys. I think my oldest at that time, he might have been 13 or so, but I had a younger son who was 5 when I decided to go back to school. So I did not want to burden my oldest son with caring for his brother. That's not his job. That's my job. I'm the
Wow.
parent, not him. So I sent my youngest son to live with my mother. I still took care of him financially. I came to see him on breaks. He came back home when my mother came with him to visit to watch him. And that's how I got through my master's. It was making some decisions, add on to my education.
And so kudos to your mom because
Yes.
they don't make grandmas like they used to make grandmas.
No, they don't.
Grandmas are doing their own thing. Like, baby, I ain't got time to take care of no kids. I raised you, and that's it. So kudos to your
I
mom
think I'm
for
that type of grandma.
amen to her, man. That's
Mhm.
awesome. That I want to let the listening audience know a little bit about your business. I know we've talked a little bit about your business. If you can take um, just a couple of seconds in this segment to let them know what your business has to offer, because I think once they understand that, they're going to see even more how dynamic of an entrepreneur that you are and a dynamic individual. Can you tell them a little bit about what your business offers?
Okay. Well, I own Focus Point Solutions, which does business as Focus Point Behavioral Health. And we offer substance abuse treatment as well as mental health treatment and therapy with a host of other licenses. I am known as an OMHC, an Organized Mental Health Center in Maryland. And I have I believe it's what it's called, a full service agency. So if someone comes in with an addiction, we can take them from their addiction to helping them go back to school if they want to, employment, medication assisted treatment, medication management, which is the psychotropic medications. So we are full service. We can take you from A to Z.
Amen. Listen, I want to just commend you. Listen, I want to stress this for those of you that want to get more out of this. This is a 2-part interview with Dr. Nicole Odom. She's really, one of the things that we got to appreciate with her is her transparency, her letting us know about her life. And the only way that us, from the outside that can grow from others is dealing with people and listening to people who are transparent, that they're not saying, oh, business is great and business can be great,
Right.
but making it seem like there's no obstacles, there's no trials, there's no issues, and life is just gummy bears and cotton candy, um, is a falsehood to us, and it doesn't give us the right opportunity to understand that when we start something, there's going to be some difficult moments. But if we weather the storm, if we stay the course, then the same opportunities and the same victorious, triumphant victories that a person like Dr. Nicole would have, or George Sanders with the Daily Gospel Network, you guys can be afforded those opportunities as well. So for today's show, I want to thank Dr. Nicole. And again, we're going to be back on part 2 in just a second here. But I want to thank you, the listening audience, for tuning in today. One of the best parts of the Daily Gospel Talk Show. So until next time, until part 2 comes around, I want you to stay safe, and I want you to let the Lord bless upon you. Why? Because you're one of his children and you deserve it. So until next week, until next segment, take care, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for tuning into the Daily Gospel Talk Show with your host, George Sanders. The talk show and podcast dedicated to spotlighting great people doing great things. Join us next time for your weekly dose of inspiration, motivation, and encouragement. So until then, stay safe and God bless from your friends at the Daily Gospel Talk Show and host George Sanders.